Ted is 30-plus years in the gold and silver industry. He's founded Midas. He worked for one of the biggest companies before that. He founded Midas, 15 years ago? Or is it 16 now? I was shopping around for gold sponsors. I had a couple of them, and people would immediately say, I didn't get my gold or it's overpriced. So I started researching gold, bought the Red Book, found Midas. They had a good name, went out and got him as a sponsor. Before Ted even had a radio network, he kind of got the idea because he's like, why don't I just put up a network? So I've been with Ted since before he started Genesis. And I bought gold a few other places, and there's a few that are okay out there. But consistently, if you want gold, bullion, silver, junk silver, you name it, or if you want collectibles, Ted doesn't even really promote that, but he's got a ton of it there at his vaults down the street at the bank. And he's got everything. And he's got it deliverable. If you call up with some weird coin, it might take him a few weeks to get it. But he's been busy while people foolishly, so have I, were, when gold was 1630, selling it the last few months. People have been selling it back to Ted. And I've been buying some of it, and Ted's been buying it. So he's been busy with people selling it back to him. Now he can sell it to you, even though it's gone up 100 and something bucks in the last few weeks. When it went up almost 50 yesterday. How much is it in the last 2 weeks? 150, 160? I don't know. Well, ask Ted. But I didn't get him on about the pitch. I really want he's a big Ron Paul supporter, was a Ron Paul delegate. He's a big Liberty guy. I mean, that's why he got into all this. And he really knows what quantitative easing means, why this is such a big deal. We just got a great breakdown from Fox News reporter Ben Swan earlier. But Ted, I mean, we've been knowing this was coming so long. And we knew that if they did QE3, it would cause hyperinflation. But this type is just unlimited and open-ended. $80 billion, half of that, $40 billion a month, to private banks, just giving them the money, buying crap made-up derivatives. Tell us what the other $40 billion's for and what you expect this to do. And then we're going to get Max Kaiser on. We're going to get Webster Tarpley on, who's an economist. We're going to get Gerald Celente this Sunday, next week. This is big, folks. They are dropping the hammer. All right, let's go to Ted Anderson. Ted Anderson, good to have you here. Good to have you here with us. I mean, this is a big deal. I mean, I'm running around like a chicken with my head cut off because I understand what's happening here, and I've had a bunch of coffee and pollen bursts. But break down what this means.
Well, I mean, first of all, I mean, the article that you have right up on Infowars.com titled "The Banker Bailout" is a great explanation of what's going on. Joseph Watson wrote it, but basically what it is that the Fed is trying to step in and stimulate the economy, bail out this is really a bailout for the banks that have these loans or these mortgages. They're trying to stop an economic collapse from happening. People are having a hard time paying their mortgages. There are a lot of foreclosures that are going on. There's way too much debt. We can't afford the debt at 0.25% interest. If they're not stepping in and doing quantitative easing, interest rates are going to go up. The natural market number is probably 4, 5, 6, 7%. It's certainly not zero. And so the Fed is trying to step in, and now they're saying until the year 2015, however much money it takes, they're going to do quantitative easing. Right now, they're committed to doing $85 billion on a monthly basis, and they're going to do that infinitively. And that's why they don't call this QE3. It is QE3, but there's no destination as far as how much and what the end of this is going to be.
Alex Jones here with a very important announcement for truth seekers. We've carried a lot of amazing films and books over the years on the online video bookstore at Infowars.com. And out of all the titles we've carried, one stands out because it is just so chillingly convincing. And that's Dreams from My Real Father by Joel Gilbert, available at Infowars.com. This film exposes the fraud that Obama is like nothing I've seen. If you want to know who Obama's real daddy is, this is the film for you. Don't forget, your purchase supports our broadcast and our growing media network. You'll also find at InfoWarsShop.com None Dare Call a Conspiracy by Gary Allen, the book that woke me up. We're also carrying Behind the Green Mask, UN Agenda 21 by Rosa Corey. This book is coffin nails to the globalist takeover. The Greater Good, the most professional and up-to-date film I've ever seen exposing the scourge that is vaccines. These titles and a lot more are all available at InfoWarsShop.com. All right, Ted Anderson's with us for the balance of the hour. We do have Dan Madani's report coming up. And I'm ranting. I kind of get in a crazed mode here sometimes by the third hour, because I'm looking around for the clip of Congressman Ron Paul, and I'm trying to find my Federal Reserve statement, which I have here, and I just get into a frothing mood. By the way, the TriCaster had crashed. That's why the crew couldn't play it. Computers are great, but they also have a lot of problems. But we do have that Ron Paul clip I was mentioning. This is Ron Paul on the news last night. This video clip is up at Infowars.com from the folks over at Zero Hedge. Here it is. The clip with Congressman Ron Paul that we're going to play.
Bernanke has not achieved that frustrates him, I can tell, is he gets no economic growth. He doesn't do anything with the unemployment numbers. And from my viewpoint, I think the country should have panicked over the fact of what the Fed is saying, that we've lost control. And the only thing we have left is massively creating new money out of thin air, which hasn't worked before, and it's not going to work this time.
So there you go. Ted Anderson, what do you make of that?
Well, Ron Paul's right. I mean, what they're doing is they're creating stimulus, but what are businesses going to do? I mean, right now they're going to gear up for inflation. They're certainly not going to hire more people. They have to, like, pull down the hatches and try to figure out how this is going to affect them. Their costs of their production are going to be going up. They don't know if they'll even be able to sell their product for a higher price. I mean, it throws the whole market upside down and you know, just throws in turbulence is what it does. You know, and this is not a new argument, Alex. You were talking about how this is a planned event. This is how things came about. I can tell you, Thomas Jefferson was arguing with Hamilton when this country was formed as to whether or not we should have a central bank. Woodrow Wilson was pushing for the League of Nations. That's how we ended up with the Federal Reserve System. You had to read his resume. My God, what this guy gave us is just amazing. You know, I mean, what, the Federal Reserve System, federal income taxes, I mean, the whole thing just goes on. And now we have this system. In order to have money, we have to go into debt. So we go into debt. The Fed creates more money by lending it to us, and now we owe interest on that debt, and it compounds, and it gets bigger and bigger, and now we're at the end of the rope. We can no longer afford the interest because it's consuming 40–45% of GDP at 0.5%. I mean, what do you expect is going to happen? The Fed has to keep the interest rates down now, because if they let the interest rates rise, the United States nation will cease to exist. We will no longer be able to afford the debt. It's beyond control. And yes, indeed, the people that formed the Federal Reserve System and pushed for the League of Nations back in 1913 are now pushing for a world currency and to be able to control the entire planet with a printing press. The politicians love printing presses because they can be bought. They can buy votes with it. They can you know, pass all their programs that they want to pass.
By the way, Ted, as you know, Barroso and all of them are over there. Herman von Rompuy, the heads of the EU, are bragging that they're taking over the once sovereign nations of Europe into a super state run by the banks. This is an economic takeover, and it's not even our debt, most of it. It's their derivatives they signed us onto. And I think that's the only silver lining here, is that there won't be as bad an inflation because they're not really putting it out into the economy. They're giving it to themselves. So it's only luxury items that are going to hyperinflate up front. But a lot of economists say that'll still trickle down.
Of course it's going to trickle down. I mean, my goodness, look at the corn prices, look at beef prices, look at, you know, just a loaf of bread, or what are we paying for gasoline? My goodness, a $10 an hour employee isn't going to be able to afford to fill his tank and come to work. I mean, this is causing economic chaos in the entire economic system of the United States. And what is it going to do to the retirees who have saved their lives and are living on a pension and get Social Security? I mean, it's just going to destroy them. You know, all around, we're putting our children into debt, and we're robbing money from anybody that's saved, and just destroying the economy.
And then meanwhile, Ted, they're buying 1.4 billion bullets and more. We have more news coming out on that today, we've discovered. They're getting giant black armored vehicles. They're preparing for civil unrest. They're digging in. They plan on fully imploding things, posing as saviors, getting rid of internet freedom, and making this country go dark.
Well, there you go. I mean, Jefferson said that a central bank is more dangerous to the people than a standing army, and now you're seeing why that's true.
He said if you allow them to control the issuance of currency and credit, your grandchildren will wake up homeless on the continent their forebears conquered.
And that's what's happening to us, Alex. It's just a sad shame. And that's why I've been saying, hey, get into gold and silver, do something a little bit different than staying in this paper money, because that's how they manipulate us. You're tired of these foreigners controlling the United States. You got to do something about it.
Do you understand how dark it is? How far down the line we are? How late it is?
And it's because we've lost our ability to really get upset. You see, when I learned that eugenicists took the country over, who believe in a one-world government to then put stuff in our food and water to sterilize us and basically kill us, and then I discovered they're testing on us right now, the massive increases in death and cancer is just the beta phase, and that their programs going forward, I start yelling and screaming. I'm not like this when I'm at home. But I get up here in front of you and I start making myself focus on this. I get upset. I'm like, please do something. It'd be like if I pulled up in front of your house, if I was driving home and I drove up and my neighbor's house had flames coming out of it, and then I ran over to see if they were okay, and the door was locked, and I looked through the window and saw the families laying in their beds with flames, I would knock the door down and go in and get people out. But if I knocked the door down and ran in and they said, shh, there's no fire, I'm like, what do you mean? It's coming through the door right there. There's smoke. Get up. Well, I would just then leave if they refused to get up. Unless they were children, then I'd drag them out. Because I'm not going to make somebody leave. They want to burn themselves up. But here's the problem. We're all in the house together, and one of us alone can't get the door open. We can't get out by ourselves. There's 7 billion people on this world. 310 million in this country. We were the wealthiest country the world had ever seen. The evil all came here to use us as an engine to build their world government. And then as soon as they're done with us, folks, they're going to get rid of us. That's the pattern in history. We have to then be brought down. And these globalists are in power because they are ruthless. And they believe through social Darwinism that they're doing us a favor doing this to us. They think you're weak and pathetic and deserve to be killed. I can't tell you how many executives, in private discussions have said, well, Alex, you notice you tell people this stuff and they don't do anything. Maybe they deserve what's happening to them. Maybe you should try to join the power structure. And even those people that I've met who are making, $5 million a year or whatever, they're not part of the real power structure. They're being attacked as well. These guys will sit there talking to you about this while they're drinking a Diet Coke. And we all do stuff that's unhealthy for us, but that is a E. coli feces genetically engineered to be addictive that will kill you. And I know I got Ted holding and I'm ranting here. It's just that this is madness. This is madness. This is evil people that like to do murderous stuff, putting it into a framework cosmology of they're going to have the singularity and transcend and all this. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're going to destroy everything. Stop now. Stop now. Stop now. Stop now. Using al-Qaeda against Libya and Syria, and now they're blowing up U.S. embassies. Burning things down, all this. I mean, undoubtedly, you've got this, new bomb threats by al-Qaeda. They're trying to get a big war going. You've got them announcing the unlimited QE, which is like going to the doctor and being told you got a big brain tumor. I mean, this is bad news, folks. Like, I'm definitely going to drill my deep water well, not just my basic well now. I'm definitely not just going to have some solar panels. I'm going to have to put in the whole thing now. I'm definitely going to get, this is like, okay, wow, I really am right. You think I'm happy when all of this stuff happens that I'm right? And people are going, oh my gosh, that maniac's right. You think I like that? No, I don't like that at all. It's not pleasing, okay? It's like telling your child, don't stick your knife, your butter knife in the electric socket. And then one day when you're out of the room, they get one and do it and get almost killed and their hair's sticking up on end. And they're crying and got to go to the hospital. That didn't happen to me, but I've talked to parents it's happened to. You think the parent's happy driving to the hospital? I told you not to stick the knife in the light socket. Oh, I feel real good now. No, it's horrible. This is horrible. Horrible. They got FEMA camps set up. The Army manuals admit re-education camps. And folks, If you think shutting up and keeping your head down is the way to survive this, you got it backwards, okay? You got it backwards, bud. Backwards. My instincts to fight this are right, but I can intellectually study history and go, my instincts are right to fight this. Okay? History, common sense, breakdown. We've got to fight this and get people out of their trance. Their learned helplessness, mass Stockholm syndrome, Overton window, a normalcy bias. Man, that's our problem. That's our problem. All right, I'm ranting, Ted, and I've got some special reports and things coming up. And I mean, obviously, we're capitalists. We've got to fund ourselves. We don't get taxpayer money, you know, like MSNBC and others do to a lot of people. So I'm obviously want to do a gold pitch here, but that's not why you're here today. In fact, you wanted to come on not about that. Ted, you were trying to get into where gold's going, what you expect to happen. But from other countries that have gone this direction, Mexico, Zimbabwe, Germany, I mean, we know what inflation, hyperinflation looks like. Argentina 12 years ago. What do we, all run by the globalists, same playbook, they call it the IMF riot. That got leaked when Joseph Stiglitz left the World Bank. That they actually destroy the economy, so then people riot, and then that destroys it even more. Then they bring in troops and bring in a permanent sense of martial law, which after 6 months of rioting in Argentina and other places, you actually want the troops. Even if you know it was all set up, you're still like, finally the rioting's over. I mean, is that where this is going, Ted?
Well, I mean, to end the violence, I mean, who wants to be able to, you know, walk out with their children and know that you're not going to get attacked or that the streets are safe? But let me tell you something, there's no safety here. You give up your liberty, you will not achieve safety. You're going to be bound by the chains of this whole thing. You know, there's a couple things, Alex. The Board of Governors did press release yesterday. It's from September 13th. We will send that to you. We have it in PDF form. If you want to get a copy of it, study it for yourself to see what the Fed's up to today. I can tell you this is not over. People this summer were thinking that this was over, that we had a solution to our economic problems, and there's no reason for gold, because now it went from $1,900 an ounce down to $1,550 an ounce. They're getting away from it. But now we're seeing the thing rear its ugly head, and the Fed has, you know, put on the accelerator, and that's why you see gold and silver just jumping, you know, $40, $50, $60 in one day. Silver up $4.50. I mean, that is reality, and that's what we have to look forward to, because the interest on debt is consuming us. The only way the Fed can keep the game going is by keeping the interest rates down. You know, they do not want to face up to the hard facts that we're going to have an economic crises on our hands, and we need to take that medicine. But the longer they try to stimulate, the more they manipulate the markets like they are, the more toxic and the more bitter the pill is going to become to swallow. We could have done this years ago. We'll have to do this in the future. We're going off the cliff. That's why Ron Paul's saying what he's saying. We need to change this, but at this point in time, the only thing that I can tell you to do is get out of their money. If they're wanting to print money to solve their problems like they are, you need to put yourself on a gold standard and a silver standard. Get away from their paper and get into something that's real.
And by the way, Ted, we started having you back on because there wasn't really any news in gold and silver, but privately we were talking months ago. We said, yeah, once the fall starts, they're going to do the QE3. Who could have foreseen QE Unlimited? So that was the only curveball. They always give us a curveball. So I guess they kept their promise. No QE3, just unlimited. It's like we won't, you know, we promised not to beat you. Now we're just going to kill you. So we told the truth. We're not going to beat you. We're going to bash your brains out. But had you on 2 weeks ago for the first time in months, and we talked about George Soros doubling his gold holdings in one day. Paulson, the head of PIMCO, all these big guys are rushing into gold right now. It's pretty obvious when they make those big moves where it's going.
Yeah, well, I mean, they actually did it ahead of time, too. So, yeah, they could see what's happening. Of course, I could, too. Back in June and July, you know, there were so much economic problems. There's so much trouble going on. And I'm like going, well, here we go. I get to buy gold at $1,550. I get to buy it at $1,600. I even think it's a great buy at $1,770, which is where it is now. just because of the fact that I can see what's coming in the future. They have not solved our economic problems. Fundamentally, we're in worse shape than we were before they started the quantitative easing, and it's going to get worse. And that's the problem, and that's why you need to move into something hard and tangible like gold and silver. Like I say, if you get yourself out of the paper currency, you're getting yourself away from their game. And now, you know, obviously gold confiscation is issue. That's the last thing that we had talked about. The 1933 $20 St. Gaudens is a reflection of what happened in 1933 with FDR when he closed the banks on a Monday and confiscated gold. He got into office, actually closed the banks on a Friday, confiscated gold on a Monday. This kind of stuff can happen again. I would suggest that you get away from their system as quickly as possible and quietly put away gold and silver. That's the main thing, whether if it's bullion coins or whether if you want something rare and collectible. The only thing I can suggest is that you stay as close to melt as possible. I don't think people should be getting into real high-priced rare coins. And that's one of the reasons when you said, hey, throw the Obama deception. We were out of the book, the Big Brother book, and I said, well, that's great. Let's put on, let's get Joe Plummer's book, Dishonest Money. And you said, yeah, throw the Obama deception on there, and we still have the American Dream video. It's like the dream package of figuring out how this all gets
let's
put
be
together.
clear. Silver has been, up in the last week. It's $2 silver for how much?
It's still, I'm holding it at 63. This will
okay,
be
you
just
can't
through
get
this
$2
weekend.
silver anywhere for $63, and then you get the Obama deception that really exposes what Obama's up to, made 3.5 years ago and light years ahead of D'Souza's film. Show that to people. They want to understand what's really behind this. The American Dream film exposing the Federal Reserve, incredibly produced, and a free book. 2 free films and a book and silver dollars under what you can buy them anywhere. 800-686-2237. Ted wants to introduce you to this, but I will tell you, we're going to run out of the Obama deceptions and then have to reprint them. And so this offer won't be available for a while here very soon. Those are going to sell out very, very quickly the way they're going. 800-686-2237. You can also link through from Infowars.com. There on the right-hand side is a link to that. But, Ted, great. A lot of folks know that's a great deal. In fact, it's an insane deal. I mean, what is silver at an ounce right now?
Well, let me just give you the latest quote here. It is currently trading at $34.73. 2 silver dollars right now would be $72.94. You still have to have it shipped to you, so you would have to add another $6.50 on top of that to get it out to you just first class without registered and insured mail. Yeah, this is a good deal. Then you put those books and the videos and everything put together. I mean, really, you're paying about half price for silver.
And you're doing this just to introduce people, get them in the store. We're not communist here. But people should call and ask for the full spectrum radio list that is the lowest price coins. The stuff you have on the internet, very competitive. Your other deals, very competitive. The radio list is whatever you've got a smoking deal on, because he bought it lower and he could still sell it to you at the low price. But he sold out of stuff he bought a month ago. He sold out of stuff he bought 2 weeks ago. Ted, what gold and silver are you selling now from what point in the market?
Well, I can tell you right now, you can pick up Canadian maple leafs right now at the moment at $1,935. The British sovereign right now is $485.24. The franc is $386.74. And of course, people are calling in and they're getting much better deals than that. The Walking Liberty half, for those of you who want silver, one of my favorites, $16.88. We have Lakota Nations at $43. Just a whole long list. People that would prefer to have the older $20 gold pieces because they don't like the idea of the gold confiscation or the 10s. They're at $21.46. $10 Liberties at $10.85. There's a lot of different things that you can be getting into. All I can say, as long as there's printing money, the Fed's printing money, and I don't know why the politicians aren't going to push for that, because they don't want to see, they don't want to lose their seats in office.
It's simple. We've grown with gold. I've been on air with you since gold was $260 an ounce. And that's why I was totally confident that it would go back up, because we know what they're doing. In fact, I'd be happy if they reversed all this. We were proven wrong, because we'd have a country. We're just trying to get people lifeboats here, and then your support, we're able to convert in a little bit of gold and silver for ourselves and pay for the radio network and everything we're doing. We're just completely upfront with all that. It's a win-win-win-win all the way around. The Alex Jones radio specials are the best deals. That's an Alex Jones special we put together with the $2 silver. You can see me right there. So, I mean, that's it. Silver at below spot, basically, with 2 free films and a free book. Totally insane deal. 800-686-2237. 800-686-2237. Now, Ted, how long can you hold these specials? Are you going to have brokers there throughout the weekend?
Yeah, they'll be here throughout the weekend. And again, I will raise the prices on that silver on Sunday because, I mean, this was priced at $26 an ounce. Come Monday, you will not be able to order it at this price. So that will have to go up.
So you're running out of the silver you bought at 26. That's how you can offer it at this.
Yeah, well, I've been out of it for a while here. I'm just losing money. I'm going to have to change my tact here a little bit because Monday I'm going to have to raise prices. But the most important thing here is that people get those videos, get that book, read the stuff, pass them on to a friend, keep the silver dollars for yourself. These are the real silver dollars that were used back at the turn of the century and going all the way back to when Thomas Jefferson was arguing with Hamilton as to whether we should have paper money or whether we should have gold and silver
as money. Well, that's right. Folks can get numismatic coins, a lot of them, close to spot, and that really is the best. Where you're getting a collectible very close to spot, that personally is what I look for myself. And I've been, researching and gold and things for about 16, 17 years. I mean, I knew more than most people before I was even on the air, but now I've kind of burrowed into it quite a bit, obviously. 800-686-2237. Give Midas Resources a call. There'll be brokers there all weekend if you're listening to this tonight or tomorrow or Sunday. And Sunday evening, what, Sunday at midnight, Ted?
Yeah, Sunday at midnight. Monday morning I will be having higher prices.
800-686-2237. Take advantage of this, folks. I only promote what I believe in, and, well, I told you buy gold at $260, and, I mean, was I right? Told you buy it at $1,000, was I right? I told you went up to $2,000, that they'd drive it down, but it would go back up, was I right? Yeah, we know what we're talking about. We're in a lot of trouble, and we're just saying, hey, we're financing our fight against the tyrants, selling truth. It's real simple. And we are doing mid-air refueling right now. But I can tell you, a lot of these deals, Ted makes no money. So I'm just trying to support the network and his sponsorship. 800-686-2237. Thank you, Ted Anderson.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Alex.
Yeah, on the nightly news tonight, I should add, we're going to have Gerald Celente for a full hour talking about the massive QE3. And if you're not a viewer of PrisonPlanet.tv, if you don't pay to subscribe, we post it the next day on YouTube. Okay? And we let one membership be 6 memberships. If you can't pay $1 a month for a membership, fine, it's free. We could do a lot more, though, if we had your support, like pay the crew even more. But that's a side issue. You support us, we support you. Tonight, 7 o'clock Central, InfoWarsNews.com or PrisonPlanet.tv, Gerald Celente. Visit InfoWars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. When you're on the site, you can also tune in 24 hours a day to my daily radio broadcast. There's also a free iPhone app to listen to the syndicated radio show when and where you want.